some of that out. So that's the basket. You stick it, it only goes in one way. Mouth goes towards the pipes. And if you put it in the wrong way, you won't be able to put the lid on. So it'll let you know, hey, I'm in the wrong way. Then this, just kind of hold this center piece, let it float over there, and then just turn this till it drops, push down, turn, done. So that's the pump basket. Okay. So now, if you're after the filters, it's a 7/8 inch wrench. This is a ratchet wrench. You can get it from Home Depot for like $10 or $13, I think. And just keep it for when you want to clean your filters, and it makes this so much easier. Because if you use, what a lot of people do, are use pliers on that, and that's brass. So it's super soft. So if you once you chew it up with pliers and you can't get this wrench on, you have to use pliers every time. Then you end up needing a new nut. So then just put this on there, turn counterclockwise. We'll loosen this. Until you can get it off with your fingers. Then you just turn this, and this all comes off in four pieces. And you'll want to keep them in the order they come out. So what I do is just push against this little washer so they all come off together.
Okay.
And I'll take them all apart so that you can see what order they go in. Because sometimes it's confusing. Okay. Alright. So then the way this comes apart is, because sometimes you might take this apart and it'll fall and then it'll shoot everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's the brass, the main brass nut, then the big washer, then the spring, then the small washer. And that's how they go back together. So this goes on first, then the spring, then this washer goes onto that threaded piece first.
Okay.
So there's that. Alright. And then what I do is just use your wrench, because sometimes this is tight, and just use the mouth of it. Pop that off, and then you'll have to push against it a little bit to get that backside one off. Just like that. And then your heat pump's a perfect place to put everything. This just lifts off like that. Let's see if this will sit right there. Yep. Okay. Then these are your filters. This O-ring stays on in this little groove. So if he comes out, just make sure he's sat down in his little groove here.
Okay.
Which it is. You'll pull this guy off, which is called the manifold. That's on the top. Put him aside. Then you'll take your filters out one by one. Nate, I'll hand you these if you want to. And then it looks like you got a brand new set of filters.
Yep.
Your pool's clean, so we'll just put those in.
Okay.
Then what you can do is let these dry, then spray them off with the hose. You'll spray from top to bottom. You'll knock all this stuff down and off. Once the water's coming out of the bottom clean, they're clean. Then just let them dry and wait for those to get dirty. Then that way, when you go to clean them, you don't have to clean them immediately.
Okay.
You can just swap them and then clean them at your leisure.
Okay. But you said let those dry first, correct?
You can spray them off immediately if you want. But what I've found is when you let this stuff dry, it like crumbles up and wants to come off anyway, and then you can almost like smack them against the ground and half of it'll fall out, and then it just makes your job easier of cleaning. Alright. So let's say you got your filters clean or you're swapping to the newer ones. You just put them on there. On this
Do I need to worry about any of that gunk in there?
Nope.
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about any of that. Because what that is when we turn the system off and it lost its pressure, anything that was stuck, all that was stuck to the outside of the filters.
Hold that right there. I'm gonna get
And then when we turned it off, it just fell to the bottom. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. So these are the new Unicell filters. Some of them say this side up, and some of them don't. So we'll read them when we get them out. These look like they can go either way. Okay. Okay. So then we'll just look on here. Usually, if it's this side up, it'll be written by the name.
Okay.
And see, yeah, so it doesn't say this side up on this side or that side, so you can put them in either or, but just OCD me, I always put the writing up.
Sure.
And all you do is just slide them down on these little cups. And that's it. As soon as they stand straight, that's it. And you'll do all 4.
Now, how often should you replace these?
This is all going to be
just clean them.
Replace them?
Yeah.
If you have 2 sets, you're probably not going to need another set for a couple years.
Okay.
And what you'll do is the original set that came with your pool, use those when you first start the pool when it's dirty,
Okay.
and beat up on those.
Okay.
And then when you get your pool clean like it is now, replace them with the good ones. That way, you know, they stay newer longer.
Okay.
But yeah, beat up on the old ones when you first start the pool. Okay, 3 out of 4. There's the 4th one. Let's get him in line. Like I said, when they all stand, they're down. All right, give me that T. Then you replace this T. Doesn't matter which way it goes, just as long as it's sitting down in all of them. Don't worry about this thing getting dirty. They get dirty all the time. They'll just get dirty again. All that does is it keeps debris and stuff from getting shot into that pressure gauge.
Okay.
So as long as it's on there, it's fine. Put this down around it. Just kind of let it saddle into all of them and then push down. That's it. Then we'll put the top back on. And what you'll do is you'll roll, because it was open to let air out, you'll roll this shut so that you know which side you want your pressure gauge pointing out so you can read it. Because if you put against the wall, you have to come stick your head around. So, and then also be aware, because when we let the air out, water is going to squirt out of this. So if you're standing there waiting for the air to come out in front of that, it's going to squirt you. So then you always just make sure that it is now, but just make sure this O-ring's seated all the way around. And you set this back down. Like that. And then you'll see, just look around the edge, make sure it's even the whole way around. You can feel actually when you set it down that it's sat down. Take your clamp. Nate, you want to hand me that stuff over there on the fence? And we'll just set it, make sure it's even, sort of all the way around. Then you'll push this in. Just get it threaded through here. Kind of hold these together like that. Then you get the small one first. Then this setup. Just get it started. Starts to get tight. And then grab your wrench. Okay, and then over here, if you look, you see how all the threads got sucked into that little circle? That's tight enough.
Okay.
And whenever, if you're wondering, as long as it's this far with that, that much sticking out, if you're wondering, I don't know if I got it tight enough or not, when you turn the system on, if it's not leaking, it's tight enough. Okay. So, all right, then we're done over here. So then, what you'll do is you'll shut this which it's already shut.
Okay.
It'll probably be like that when you.
Okay.
So you'll shut that. You'll go back over here. You'll open these back up. 1, 2. As soon as you do that, try to go turn the pump back on. You'll just hit that same filter button. And then you'll see the little red light light up. And then the pump will try to prime. So it should start priming now any moment. There she goes. And since we had these shut, it shouldn't take it very long to start drawing water.
Okay.
And you can always see in here, if you look in here in a second, you'll see a little trickle of water come in there. As long as that's happening, you're good to go. And this pump, since it's a smart pump, if it runs too long and can't get a prime, it'll shut itself off. If that happens, just shut the valves, same as you did before. Fill that back up with water. Put the lid back on, open the valves, turn the pump back on. Just keep doing that until it draws water. But as long as you remember to shut these whenever you open the pump basket or the filter, it shouldn't have that much trouble to pull the water out.
So this one I'm going to turn this direction so that off is over here. This one I'm going to turn all the way around.
Yep. And then you can open this, and that gives it somewhere to push the air out.
Okay.
And that'll also make it easier for it to prime up.
Okay.
Okay. It's already starting to draw some water.
Is it? Okay.
You can just see on in the bottom that little puddle.
yeah.
See how it's starting to flicker?
Okay.
So it's starting to draw a little water in. So it's not gonna shut off and say, priming alert.
Yeah, because it's taken 30 to 45 minutes before
Well, and a lot of that
with
is
the guy that would come out and do it to try to.
if you don't shut the valves, of course it is, because it's gonna when you open anything over here, the air is going to shove that water all the way back down to the pool, and then you can imagine how long the pipe is from there to the pool, from there to the bottom of the pool.
So the guy just built this back in January is when he started to kind of help protect this long term. And we normally put tarps over it, strap them down in the winter time.
Okay.
Is there anything else we should do longevity wise?
And actually with the tarps and stuff like that, I would actually suggest against that.
Okay.
Especially since you have a roof.
Okay.
Because the main adversary to all this stuff, especially that heat pump, is mice.
Okay.
So if you leave it exposed and it's cold in there, then you want to build a home. If you put a tarp over it, then you just turned it into a house for you.
Okay.
So honestly, all this stuff's designed to sit outside.
Okay.
So this is going to protect it from sun, heat, stuff like that.
Yeah, because year round, the sun, the wind, everything comes right through here. So we didn't know as far as the plumbing.
No. Once it's winterized properly, as long as you use a good company to winterize it, if it's winterized properly, it's all designed to sit out all winter long.
Okay.
It's not going to hurt anything. So. Come on, big guy.
I know in the past he's had to open the cover there on the pump and crank it up higher RPMs, but
when this starts, it actually, I think, when it starts to prime, it goes to its highest RPM, I believe.
okay.
And then once it finds water, it'll turn itself down. So.
Does it normally take this long, or?
Yeah, with the pool being that low.
And so as soon as it primes, is that when you turn the dial on that to close
Yeah,
it?
you'll hear air whistling out of this.
Okay.
And then when it starts to whistle, I don't leave it full open. I'll shut it a little bit. It starts hissing. And then once you get water to come out, then you shut it. That's it. And then that'll give you your clean number. So it's probably going to be like 10 psi or something like that. That'll be clean. So you won't have to spray these off or wash them until it gets 15 to 20, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So that'll let you know that your filters are
Okay.
dirty.
So as long as that gauge is about 10.
Well, we'll see. So we
Okay.
just put each pool
Okay.
system's different, depends on how it's plumbed and all that.
Okay.
So we know we just put brand new filters in here. So whatever the number is on that, that's your clean number.
Okay.
Then 10 psi over that is dirty.
Okay.